G'day guys, ZiggyD here and welcome back for part 10 of the Path of Exile Survival Guide. In the last episode, we continued clearing Act 3 normal. We made it all the way to the docks where we did a bit of farming. I'm currently at level 30. And I wanted to talk about this for a second. I've had someone send me a message and saying they decided to farm docks a little bit longer until they got blood magic. I actually think this is a pretty good idea. I'm probably not going to do that so much. I think getting to level 30 is probably going to be good enough. And from that point, I'm going to progress through the rest of Act 3. And hopefully by the time before we reach Dominus will be around level 36. Now, with respecting these passive points here, like I've talked about planning to do in the last episode, level 36 should see us to blood magic, and also hopefully the life leech node as well. And that should make things a lot easier for Dominus and for progressing forward through Cruel. So I'm pretty eager to do that, but I suspect without doing any more docks farming from level 30, I can get my way to level 36 before we finish the act. But if not, no great loss, I can simply go back and do a little bit more farming to level up a little bit more. However, if you do want to stick around in docks and farm to level 32, level 33, or even all the way to level 36, you're welcome to do so, and the docks is a fantastic zone to farm to do that. So, to help things out a little bit before we progress, I want to chance orb this 2-stone ring. That's right, we're going to do some gambling again. I do love my orb of chance gambling. Though that said, I swear the last 30 orb of chances that I've used have not resulted in a rare. I've been getting some pretty bad rolls on my chance orbs. Now I'm going to chance this 2-stone ring we found in docks last night, and that's because it's 14% to cold and lightning resist, which is going to be very helpful moving forwards. So, I think we can go ahead and chance this and hope we get a rare. Come on, or at least a nice life roll. Ooh, okay, this actually isn't too bad. 17 to max mana is going to help us out with our mana problems for a little while, and extra cold resist is going to help out a bit too. So it's a pretty nice resistance ring. If nothing else, we can simply use it when we need extra resist. Now, what can we trade this out with? We could trade it out with this lightning one here. However, this one has a bit of bonus damage on it, so I'll probably keep the bonus damage one for now. However, as I said, we can hold on to this because it's essentially now the same as using a cold ring. Or, you know, it also gives us some lightning resist as well, so we can trade that out if we need to buff up any of our particular resists moving forwards. So, now let's go back to the Battlefront waypoint, and we're going to head over to do the Gemling Queen quest. And that'll give us, I think we get a rare ring or some description for that. So that'll be pretty fun to check out what we get from that. But it's also necessary for us to do it to continue on with the main story quest as well. You'll remember there was a blockage here in the warehouse district, and to clear that out we actually need to go talk to the Gemling Queen first. That was an exceptionally long load. But we have currently 2 quest items in our inventory, and as long as we have these, we're ready to go to the Gemling Queen. Now I'm still thinking probably not really worth using Hatred just yet. I have to get back into the idea of using this character, because I've been playing my EK Scion quite a bit today. Ooh, a Greater Mana Flask, I think? No, we're still good on Greater Mana Flask at the moment. We actually want Grand Mana Flask if possible. So just going to progress through normally. We've already been through this zone a bit, so nothing else new to say here. And I'll just AoE down the large packs. You'll notice once we start to get to this tiled area, we're pretty much already there. Looks like the waypoint spawned nice and closely, so we don't even need to run very far. But I will, however, kill off this rare, because that's going to give us some nice extra XP. Those are nice and easy to kill, those ones as well. Those are banners. Okay, kill off the last of these guys and head into Solaris Temple, level 1. Solaris Temple is, it takes quite a while. Usually when you're doing this with a little bit of help from your friends, you'll pretty much bypass everything in Solaris Temple. So it's one that you don't actually end up playing all that much, because you can actually give someone to give you the waypoint right at the Gemling Queen herself. But this time, since we're doing the normal difficulty playthrough by ourselves, solo, we're going to have to run through it ourselves. Now, one you want to watch out for, you know, we've already fought a few of these lightning versions of these banners. There's a lot of fire versions of these banners as well. There's, you know, there's different types of elemental ones, but the fire ones, I think, are the main risk that we're going to encounter. They, it says cast augmented fireballs. That means they can do things like lesser multiple projectile fireballs, they can do fireballs that fork, and they can do fireballs that chain. They basically just do any types of those. And if your fire resist isn't up to spec, you're going to be hurting a little bit there, which we're pretty good. 37% is not the best. We could be capping out our resist by now if we had a little bit better gear, but I think we're doing okay. So other than that, you know, we've got a lot of stuff we've already fought. Like all of these guys here do physical attacks. I think some of them fire ice shots as well, like a lot of the statues do. Same sort of thing, just a different looking type of statue. But the main thing you want to watch out for is those banners that cast augmented fireballs. If you get up close to them, they can hit you with multiple of those fireballs at once, and that can do quite a bit of damage. So something else I should also mention is that these smaller ribbons do use a charging attack, and usually it's not a problem, they don't deal too much damage, but when they're a blue type one, they're like those ones that I just fought. If they've, you know, got powerful crits, or if they've got some extra added damage modifier, that can be potentially pretty dangerous, because charges do generally hit pretty hard. Yeah, but as their normal standard selves, not too bad, not too much of a problem unless you run into a room full of them. But otherwise, just keep an eye out for the blue ones and make sure they don't deal any extra damage before you just go running past them and getting charged down by all of them. Now, we did find the exit of this zone pretty quickly by just sticking to the left side wall. You know, if you're unsure of how to navigate through a zone, usually a safe choice is to just stick to either the left or the right wall and continue to follow that all the way along. However, I wanted to backtrack to show you guys the zone boss in here. You might not encounter this guy very often, but I thought I'd show him off just for those people who are curious. He is the Infernal Seal, and he's one of these ribbon creatures, and of course is a fireball one, and casts, you know, different types of, well, he actually just casts Firestorm, I think. I don't actually uses the augmented fireballs, but he does cast Flammability, and you know, we've fought quite a few firestorming enemies now, with a few of those bosses, but this one's the most dangerous because of that combination with Flammability. You're going to get take a lot more damage from those fireballs, from those firestorms, but also you're going to get set on fire a lot more. So as you can see, you know, we just got set on fire there without even having Flammability cast on ourselves. But now we've got Flammability cast on ourselves, we'll eat some of these guys, and you can see it can be quite damaging. But he's not too bad. I might be over-exaggerating things a little bit. So I'll just kill him off. Same deal for all Firestorm fighters and Lightning Stormers and things like that. Just keep circling them, keep shooting, and stay out of the AoE. And there we go, we got a few rares. Oh, there's a three-link death bow there. We'll grab that in case we want to try and craft ourselves one. Our current bow is still pretty nice, and but we're actually really not hurting for links too much. We've got a 3-link chest, and it's not going to be that hard to get links, especially since we're actually not using many support gems at this current state. So, something with this build is we actually do need to start thinking about the support gems we need. The ones we need moving forwards are life gain on hit. We'll eventually need a life leech. We'll also want added fire. I mentioned these ones specifically because these are the main ones that we don't get as quest rewards, or if we do get them, you know, it's much later on and a bit awkward for us. So we have a few options then. Some of them, well, most of those are pretty, except for life leech, are pretty available pretty early on. So you can mule like a marauder to Brutus or something like that. I can check the actual wiki to find out which actual quest reward you receive them from. Otherwise, probably the easiest option is to simply buy them from Trade Chat. Now, I've had a few questions about whether I'll be doing this as a self-found playthrough, and the answer is no, not exclusively, but if I do any sort of trading, it'll be trading that you guys can easily replicate. It'll be super simple stuff like buying a certain support gem in the from the chat by just saying, you know, offering one alchemy orb or something like that. Something that you could easily feasibly get. So far on this character, we've had one alchemy orb drop, and that's certainly not unusual. In fact, I would say the drops we've had on this character have actually been pretty low. Like, we haven't found that much in the way of currency or particularly good items. We haven't found a unique at all yet either. So, but that's a little bit less unusual. But we'll make things as simple as possible, and we'll try and keep trading to a minimum, at least in terms of gear. Oh, we're getting surrounded by a lot of charging mobs here and getting shocked. A little bit nasty, but I think we can make our way through here. So as you can see, a lot of these blue charging ribbons can end up doing a lot of damage, especially when you're also getting shocked and fireballed by all those other ones. Now, you'll notice a new creature in here, the Holy Waters. These guys usually only spawn near the water sections, but I don't see any water, so I don't know what they're doing here. But often they'll come up out of the water. They'll actually arise out of the water, and they use Cold Snap and things like that that can freeze you. So you kind of want to stay away from that. Their close range attack is Ice Nova, which you can easily avoid that as a ranged character, but the Cold Snaps are a little bit trickier. Something I want to mention is how cool is this zone? I don't spend nearly enough time in here. As I mentioned earlier, we tend to skip over this Solaris Temple area. No spawns in there? No? Okay, no creatures. But so I don't end up seeing it all that often. But it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I like all these smoky backgrounds and things like that. And walking along these walkways is pretty exciting. There should be some in here. There they are. See, the Holy Waters do appear out of the water. I'm not going crazy. So I don't know what those other ones were doing in the hallway there before. Ooh, looks like we're about to encounter our first shrine this episode. Exciting stuff. I was wondering why we hadn't seen one for a while, actually. Let's see if it's anything new. Well, it's a bit surrounded in that room there. It's going to be a little bit tricky to get into. Something, actually, I think, come to think of it, while we're in here doing this Solaris stuff, there's no reason why we can't do a bit of shopping while we're in here. So as soon as I clear these guys out, oh, that's really, these large ones are really tanky. Check that out. Just eating those arrows like it's nothing. Anyway, now we know we have one alk in our chest, so there's no reason why we can't do a little bit of trading here. So what I'm going to do is going to turn myself off D&D. Going to go into trade chat. Now what trade are we? We're in 32. Let's go ahead and join trade 5, because I don't want you guys to be afraid of, doing a little bit of trading. So what we're going to do is going to go to trade chat here, which is the $, and we're going to go want to buy, I think life gain on hit will be the most useful one. Life gain on hit gem for 1 alk. And we'll just see if that gets any interest. We can actually straight away now go ahead and turn off the trade chat. And if that doesn't get any interest, we'll go to a different trade chat and ask again soon. But, someone might be able to send us a message and then we can scoot back to town and get that life gain on hit gem. Because we did do a little bit of trading, but it's super simple trading. Just buying support gems and things like that. It's not very hard at all. So what is this actual one? It's another impenetrable shrine, which is nice and armor boosting. So let's run through here, do a bit of speed farming while we've got this shrine. And we'll see if we get any messages from this. If not, we'll ask in a few different trade chats while we're just doing our farming. We don't need to stand around in town to do trading. So we can just keep moving, just do a little bit of multitasking action. So it looks like no interest from trade 5, so what we're going to do is going to go ahead and join trade 4. And then we can actually just press up twice, and it'll do our previous message, and we can just type it in there as well. And then we can go ahead and leave trade again. And we'll just cycle through those different ones, doing like trade 1 is usually a bit tricky to actually find any luck in. Now, we actually missed the zone boss for level 2, which is a bit of a shame. So, I'm actually going to backtrack a bit, even though we're at the end, and show you guys the zone bosses, because that's something I want to make an effort to do. So I'll see you guys in a moment when we find them. However, it looks like we have a party invite. Now, this person didn't send us a message, but I'm assuming they want to sell us a life gain on hit gem. Selling a life gain on hit. And if they do say yes, then we'll open a town portal, and we'll go back to town, and we'll give them an alk in exchange for our life gain on hit gem, which we can start using immediately. It will be nice to start leveling that up. Yes, Act 1 normal, fantastic. So we'll use our town portal scroll here. So the guy in our party said A1N, which is just shorthand for Act 1 normal, and that's where most trading occurs. If you're in the party with them and you join Act 1 normal, most of the time they'll be in there. He just appeared to have left for some reason, so I don't know what happened there. Here he is. So we'll go ahead and he's sent the trade menu, otherwise we can right click his name and initiate the trade, and then we have our life gain on hit gem. Good stuff. Thank you very much. And we're all set, so we can now go ahead and leave this guy's party. Current party leave. And we have ourselves a life gain on hit gem. Now let's see if we can actually get this set up now. Now this is just going to give us a boost in survivability now. Each enemy hit is going to give us 6 extra life, which as this levels up, that's going to improve. But moving forwards, once we get blood magic, this is going to help us support whatever main skill we use linked to this on blood magic. And eventually we'll switch over to life leech as well. So whenever we find another alk or something like that, we'll go ahead and buy added fire, and when we find another alk, maybe we'll go ahead and buy life leech. Those are the 3 ones we get. Since they're red gems, it's a bit harder. The ranger doesn't, get them herself very easily, so easiest to just trade for them. So, we have a few choices. We have a few linked items here. The armor evasion one here would probably be the easiest to dual link. Now, how is this pair of gloves? These gloves are really nice, so I'm happy to re-roll the sockets on this one. So, time for a bit of crafting. What we're going to do is chromatic this and try and get a green and a red. Now, if you hold shift, we can just click multiple times. However, we got it on the first go. So there's our life gain on hit gem, and we can go ahead and link split arrow to that, since that's our main attack we're using at the moment. And now we have a life gain on hit split arrow. And we'll go ahead and chuck projectile weakness back in this slot. And we'll go back to Act 3 and continue pushing through Solaris Temple. Okay, I think we've found the zone boss finally. We can now take our newly linked split arrow for a bit of a whirl. Should help us a bit with the tanking. Now, as you can see, there's 3 white ribbons in here. We have the Banner of Knowledge, the Banner of Action, and what's the other banner named? Let's see if we can find him here. The Banner of Passion. Now, as you can see, each one of those has a different aura. One's using the Anger aura, one's using the Wrath aura, and one's using the Hatred aura. That means, altogether, they do extra fire, lightning, and cold damage. If you can separate them out, however, they'll only have the effect of one of them. Oh, he was actually desynced, so we can fix that by going out of a sync there, /OOS. And now we're just dealing with just the one with the Anger Aura. That's the best thing you can do, is to separate these guys. They don't hit too hard by themselves because they're just little banners, but altogether they have the effect of all of those auras and do a lot of extra elemental damage, so something to watch out. Kind of a thematically cool set of zone bosses there, and fun to kill, so I was happy to go back and kill these guys. Some Scholar Boots, Falling Scholar Boots, probably not too useful for us. The Royal Bow could be okay, let's check that out. We've got a white death bow there in case we want to do some crafting. Yeah, that's pretty rubbish, so we'll go ahead and get rid of that. And we've got a lot of stuff to sell, and we're still waiting for level 31 so we can use that helmet, which we're getting very close. But now that we've killed the zone bosses, we'll go back and talk to the Gemling Queen. So making sure to grab the waypoint if you haven't already grabbed it, and we're just going to head up the stairs here. Now you notice there's a doorway off the left here. That actually goes to the Eternal Laboratory, or Lab, Eternal Lab. But at the moment this isn't relevant. You can go in there and check out some lore if you want, but at endgame, in Merciless difficulty, that's actually where we go and do endgame maps, so pretty interesting stuff. So we have a bit of a discussion with her, and now we have a decision of what sort of ring we want to get. Currently I think Lightning Resist ring is our worst current ring, but what do we mostly need? Lightning and Cold are the most important ones moving forwards for the next major boss we'll be fighting, so I think a good Lightning Ring could be good. This one's only okay, so let's try and see if we can get a nice rare here. And we also get our previous 2 quest items turned into the 1 quest item there, the upgraded quest item. But, ooh, got some nice damage rolls, some extra fire resist. Not bad, I can definitely use that. It's going to increase my DPS by a bit. 124 DPS, up to 131. Not bad, not bad. And we have quite a few things to sell now, so let's go back to town and gather up some currency from the vendors. So while I do this, I'd just like to mention, if you don't happen to have an alchemy orb and you want to trade for one of those support gems like we just did a minute ago, then you can simply offer something like a stack of alterations. People would be happy to do that. You could do like 10 chromatics. All of those support gems, except Life Leech, can maybe go for a chaos sometimes, especially early in leagues. But life gain on hit and added fire, usually not more than an alch, which, a stack of alterations or 10 chromatics or something like that, you usually find someone happy to trade for that, so not too hard to get those items at all. We can actually probably get rid of some of our crappier rings now. What have we got? We probably don't need this, or this. And we'll just keep that dual resist one in case we need some extra resistances later. So, from this point, we actually want to now go back to the warehouse district. As I said, in Act 3 you tend to jump around quite a lot, but we'll go to the warehouse district waypoint, which is under the sewers, and then, if we head off in this direction here, we can actually use this new quest item we have, the Infernal Talcum Powder, to clear the Undying blockage. Yes, use the Talcum Powder to clear the Undying blockage. Anyway, into the sewer waterway. So in here we're dealing with pretty much the same stuff we've dealt in the other sewers, but keep in mind it's a higher level zone, whereas the warehouse district was only 29, this is 32, so much more level appropriate for us, and still a little bit more challenging since we're only level 30 at the moment. But same sort of things you're dealing with. Just watching out for these Undying grapplers, trying to kill them off first if you can before you kill their friends, so they don't gain power charges and so they don't use their discharge ability, which does a lot of lightning damage. And there's our life gain on hit gem leveling up as well, which, as you can see, goes from +6 per attack to 8 gained per enemy hit. So that as that levels up, it actually becomes really effective, especially for something like Split Arrow, which hits a lot of enemies, or like if you're using a melee ability with melee splash support gem. Anything that hits a lot of enemies, life gain on hit is really nice. It's also an instantaneous heal as well, unlike Life Leech, which is an overtime heal. So it has its uses, but mostly it's used in the early game before you get Life Leech gem. Before Life Leech becomes viable, which is usually once you have a lot more damage. I'm checking most chest armors that drop now, especially ones that could be good for us, like armor or armor evasion or evasion type ones, because the current one we've got is quite a bit behind in level now, although it does have a life roll on it, and some mana and things like that on it as well, so it's not a bad chest, but it would be nice to try and find a level appropriate upgrade. And this actually goes for most of our slots. Our gloves and boots are currently good, our helmet definitely needs an upgrade, I'd like an upgrade to our quiver, and I'd like an upgrade to our amulet as well, could be much better. And we want a bow upgrade soon. Our belt's still quite good though, so I'm pretty happy with the belt. But just keep aware and keep in the back of your mind which slots of your current gear set are a little bit lacking, and then just keep an eye out for blues, even whites if you want to do your own crafting, or especially rares in each of those slots. And we've now hit level 31, nicely leveling along. Going to be just rushing straight towards blood magic again. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 levels until we get blood magic, which 4 more levels and some respec points. Yeah, we can definitely do that. And we should also be able to pick up leech as well from the passive tree, which will help us with supporting blood magic. Someone did send me a message asking about, well, they were saying that they were having a lot of trouble after switching to blood magic staying alive, and that's because, you know, if you're using a reasonably expensive skill, you are going to deal a fair bit of damage to yourself. So the main ways of dealing with that are getting the life leech gem, getting the life gain on hit gem, or getting some life leech from gear or the passive tree. With this build, while leveling, we're going to be getting 2% life leech from the passive tree, which affects only physical damage, but we're also aiming to get a lot of physical damage, and also the life gain on hit gem, which gives you life back no matter how much damage you deal, so it's nice for things like split arrow, even if you're not dealing much damage. But we'll grab this orb of transmutation. These guys are kind of nasty. This is an extra fizz damage aura, so kind of have to watch out for those ones. And there's the Ebony Barracks exit, so we can probably just kick off this pack and leave the zone. There's another 2-stone ring drop. Probably not too helpful for us. What is it? It's a fire and cold. Yeah, probably not going to be too helpful for us. Anything good there? A wolf pelt helmet could be good. We're getting desperate for a new helmet. This helmet is rubbish. How bad is this helmet? I'm actually going to try and craft one right here and now. That's a level 30 helmet. Oh, accuracy. Still, what's our actual offensive capabilities like? We're still 92% chance. Anything above 90% is fine before you get resolute techniques. So, however, our current one only has 20 and light radius, so I'm happy to switch out this helmet just for the increased evasion rating, if nothing else. I should have upgraded this helmet a long time ago. I'm going to throw that helmet on the ground, it's that bad. But how cool does this new helmet look? That's also worth mentioning. Wolf head helmet, pretty badass. But heading into the Ebony Barracks, we have a waypoint to grab in here, and also a side quest as well. So we'll do both of those things. Waypoint's right here, so that's nice and easy. Checks off the first one nice and easy. Now in this zone, based on the scenery, we can expect to see more of these soldiers that wield these weapons. So charging soldiers, I think some of them in here do actually charge. The ones in the other zones didn't. And we've also got more lightning thorn casters and spellcasters and things like that. So do these ones charge? No, these ones don't charge. These ones charge. The one with the triangle shields do charge, and that is quite a bit of damage as well, so want to watch out for that. Want to try not to get charged by a big group of them all at once, and again watching out for lightning thorns and things like that. However, our life gain on hit gem that we have now equipped to split arrow is actually going to help us deal with lightning thorns quite well. Basically the damage we take will be instantly healed by life gain on hit. It happens at the same time, so pretty nice stuff. We've got a big blue pack of these guys now. Extra life, but these guys, oh, see how much that charge hurts. I just got hit by one of them and took like 300 or 400 life down. So I'm just going to work down this pack carefully. Oh, getting brutalized by the charge mobs. Okay, so it looks like we've found the direction I'm trying to head to. This is what I've been looking for, is this large set of stairs here. Now, you can kind of follow this green wall along. This is a fairly new addition to the zone, actually, and actually leads off to the area we'll be heading later. So we're not actually looking to find the entrance along this green wall, but we will be looking for that later. For now, though, we want to head up these stairs and kind of find this barracks area where we're going to be fighting a General Gravicius or General Gravicius, depending on how people like to pronounce it. But we'll see if he's up this staircase. He should be up this next staircase here. There's this wide one that's usually straight. So yeah, you can see there's like a set of carpets kind of leading into a large tent, and that'll be where he's located. So we'll kill off all of these ads though, because he's very dangerous, and what we want to do before we fight him, check our fire resist. 50%, we're doing okay. I think that's actually going to keep us out of trouble. So we've got some fire resist from this ring, we've got some fire resist from this ring. We might have some on our gear somewhere else as well. Cold resist, fire resist there. Yeah, we're doing 50% should be more than enough for this fight. So as we get up here, you can see off in the distance there, we've got a we've got some fire mages and things like that. We're actually going to pick off all of these ads first. Oh man, those charges hurt. I really should try and dodge that sort of thing. But we'll kill off all of these ads first before we actually engage this guy. So you can do that pretty easily as a ranged character just by shooting off screen. That'll usually get their attention. He won't actually trigger until you get a bit closer to him though, so we're free to kind of kill off all of his ads before we get into the fight. And worthwhile doing, because this guy's a little bit tough. But so this is a side quest to kill this. We should actually already have this quest. We've got, traverse the sewers under the river, reach Ebony Barracks, and assassinate General Gravicius or Gravicius. And Gravicius, I reckon, is the way. But as we can go here, he's got extra fire damage, cast Firestorm, cast Molten Shell, allies have energy shield, resists elemental damage, resist chaos. So as you can see, he kind of uses this fire trap ability on us, but it's not an actual fire trap because he doesn't throw traps. They just kind of explode on top of it. It's pretty unfair. But he also does, you know, firestorm and things like that. So you want to keep and dodge that. Not to mention he has the awesome firestorm microtransaction, which I love. It makes me want to make a firestorm build. Too bad the spell's kind of rubbish, but the firestorm there is super cool looking. He's got that kind of siege microtransaction effect for it. Now he's got a very high pool of energy shield, so actually the best way to deal with him is going to be poison arrow, because that'll cut through his both his, you know, the direct hits will take his energy shield down, and the poison will cut through to his actual life. So we're going to kind of kill him off a bit faster that way. But we can also just kill him off with the poison arrow. That's going to do more sustained damage. If you have to back off at all from this fight, which we, you know, if we take too much more damage, we're going to, then he's going to regenerate his energy shield, and it's a huge pool of energy shield. This guy's actually incredibly hard to kill if you're with a group, because both the energy shield and life increase dramatically when you're with a group. So I actually prefer to solo this guy, but he's a little bit dangerous in later difficulties. But we can just do the same sort of deal we would to normally avoid firestorms. Is the same as avoiding this kind of fire traps. We're kind of going to get hit by the initial explosion. We can't do too much about that, but we can make sure we're not standing in the actual fire effect for all that long. So we've gotten through his energy shield now. We can keep using poison arrow because it's going to slowly damage him, and it's also pretty cheap. We're completely mana starved right now. I can also use my quicksilver to move a little bit faster. But what's that actual 2-stone? That might be interesting. But yeah, I'll just keep moving and working him down and trying to stay out of that fire. And as long as your fire resists are nice and high, like 50% is keeping us alive. We can actually use our split arrow to heal us up a little bit as well, if we need to get some extra life, since it's now got life gain or hit on it. You could even, if you wanted to prepare for this fight a little bit, switch your split arrow out with like your frenzy, and put life gain on hit on frenzy if you wanted to. Though frenzy's really mana expensive, so we'll be able to make, I don't know if it would work out too well. And there he goes. Ooh, what did we get?
Where will your journey end, exile?
How are you talking? Oh no, okay, is the death throws, his death throw discussion happening there. Ooh, this could be a good one to try and roll, level 30. It's a quality one as well, 14% quality, gives us a little bit of extra bonus. So, I think this is all good. I don't think we need any improved gloves or anything like that. From this point, you know, as long as you've made sure to grab the waypoint in the barracks, we're free to head back to town now and grab the quest reward for that quest. So we'll go ahead now and talk to, I believe it's Grigor that gives us the reward for this quest. No reward from him, just a lot of discussion. Must be Momoa then. Here we go. Okay, so what one are we taking? Cold penetration is no good for us. Point blank is no good for us. Pierce has some potential. We already have a less multiple projectiles gem, so we're okay there. Added cold isn't too useful. Neither is faster projectiles. I think then Pierce is going to be the most useful for us, because Pierce can be both used to an ice shot. It works really well with ice shot, and it's going to work well with split arrow now as a way to increase the AoE capability of it. So we'll go ahead and get that. And what we want to try and do now is get a 3-link if possible. This one's going to be hard to get. We want 2 greens and a red 3-link if possible, so this one's going to be a bit hard. So we kind of just want to keep an eye out. We can do this by checking the vendors now. We should be checking the vendors every level actually, which I haven't been doing. Oops. But we can try and see if there's any good ones in here, any good 3-links. And the cheapest way is just to try and find those 3-links from the vendor already set up rather than having to craft them yourself. But nothing just yet. We'll check back now, and we'll check back in a while, and leave that PS aside for now. But for now, that closes out episode 10. We managed to make it our way to the Gemling Queen, fight all the unique bosses in there, pretty fun stuff, cut our way through the sewer waterway, go to the barracks and assassinate General Gravicius, getting ourselves a ring in the process, and a support gem from General Gravicius as well. Pretty good stuff, pretty successful. In the next episode, we're actually going to continue on and fight Piety for the second time. It's going to be pretty exciting. Hope you guys enjoyed it. That's it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.